Alexander Berkman's Last Days by Emma Goldmanm. 1936. It is only 2 weeks since our beloved comrade Alexander Berkman passed away, yet it seems an eternity to me. The blow his untimely death has struck me left me completely shattered. I find it difficult to collect my thoughts, but I feel sure you will want to know all about Sasha's end. For have you not loved him through all these years? Sasha left a note which we found after we returned from his last resting place. It reads, "I don't want to live like a sick man. Dependent. Forgive me, Emmy. Darling, and you too, Emma. Love to all. Help Emmy." Signed, Sasha. I have two letters from Comrade Berkman dated June 24th and 26th. He wrote while he did not feel strong enough to come to St. Topaz on the 27th, my 67th birthday. His condition was not serious and not to worry. On the 27th in the afternoon, Berkman called me up from Nice to give me well wishes for the day. He said he was feeling better. Comrade Michael Kahn, his family, and very devoted English friend were with me, and my thoughts were far away from any danger to my old pal. At 2 a.m. Sunday, just 2 weeks ago, I was awakened by a telephone call from Nice to come at once. I knew at once that our comrade was at the end, but not what kind of end. On arriving in Sasha's apartment, we found Emmy, his companion for 14 years, in a collapse, hardly able to tell us what happened. We finally learned that Sasha had suffered a violent relapse. While Emmy was trying desperately to get a doctor, Sasha had shot himself in the chest. This Emmy learned only after Sasha had been rushed to the hospital and she had been dragged off by the police as having killed Sasha. So great was the fortitude of our brave comrade that he did not let Emmy know he had ended his life. Actually, she found him in bed, covered up with blankets, so she could not notice his wound. Getting a doctor in a small town in France is another indication of the backwardness of this country. It took Emmy several hours before the miserable man arrived. He came too late, but when he found the revolver, he notified the police and the hospital, and Sasha was taken away in an ambulance. We rushed to the hospital. We found Sasha fully conscious, but in terrific pain, so that he could not speak. He did, however, fully recognize us. Michael Kahn and I remained with him until early afternoon. When he returned at 4 o'clock, Sasha was in a coma. He no longer knew us, and I hoped fervently that he no longer felt pain. I stayed with him until 8:30 p.m., planning to return at 11 and remain with him for the night. But we were notified that he died at 10 o'clock Sunday, June 28th. Comrade Berkman had always maintained that if ever he should be stricken down with suffering beyond endurance, he will go out of life by his own hand. Perhaps he might not have done it on the fatal evening of the 28th had I or anyone else of his friends been near to help him. But Emmy was desperately trying to get a doctor, and there was no one near she could have left with Sasha. She most likely did not even realize the gravity of the moment. It had always been our comrade's wish to be cremated. This was also my wish and Emmy's. But there is no crematorium in Nice. The next place was Marseilles, and the cost, I was told, 8,000 francs. Sasha left the munificent sum of $80, which the very government that had hounded him from pillar to post blocked as soon as Sasha's death became known. No one could get it. I myself have not been blessed with worldly goods, certainly, not since I am living in exile. I could therefore not carry out the cherished wish of my old pal and comrade. In point of fact, he would have been opposed to such a thing as spending 8,000 francs for cremation. He would have said, "The living needs this money more than the dead." But it is so characteristic of our damnable system to fleece the living as well as the dead. No one will ever know the humiliation and the suffering of our comrade went through in France. 4 times expelled, then granted a pittance of 3 months, then 6 months. An irony of ironies, just 2 weeks before the end, he was given an extension of a year. Just when we may have enjoyed some peace, Alexander Berkman was too harassed by pain and too spent from his operations to live. Death had robbed me of a chance to be with my lifelong friend until he breathed his last. But it could not prevent me from a few precious moments with him, alone in the dead house moments of serene peace and silence and contemplation of our friendship that had never wavered, our struggle and our work for the ideal for which Sasha had suffered so much and to which he had dedicated his whole life. These moments will remain for me until I myself will breathe the last. And these moments in the house of the dead will spur me to continue my work Sasha and I had begun August 15th, 1889. I know how you feel about our wonderful Sasha, the many cables, wires, and letters. I have already received our proof of your devotion and your love. I know you will not deny the dead the respect for the method he employed to end his suffering. Our sorrow is all embracing, our loss beyond mere words. Let us gather strength to remain true and to the flaming spirit of Alexander Berkman. Let us continue to struggle for a new, beautiful world. Let us work for the ultimate triumph of anarchism, the ideal Sasha loved passionately and in which he believed with every fiber of his being. In this way alone, we can honor the memory of one of the greatest and bravest comrades in our ranks, Alexander Berkman.